Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, my YouTube channel all about knitting. Today I have a regular podcast episode for you. I've got two finished objects, a sweater and a cardigan, as well as some new cast-ons, a blanket, lots of fun stuff to show you, as well as information and a peek at all of the yarn there behind me for my next shop update that is going to be on March 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is this Friday if you're watching this when it goes up on Wednesday, a day later, by the way. Thank you for your patience with that. I wanted to make sure that I did have all of that yarn dyed up and ready to go so that I could show you on this episode. So before we jump on into the knitting, everything I talk about today, all of my socials, all of the projects that I'm working on, they are all always linked down below in the description. So if there's anything that you want to look at that I've talked about today, you can check down there. If I do miss anything, feel free to leave me a comment though. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content. Okay, like I said, thank you so much for your patience with this video going up a day late. I have had quite a time lately, and it just, like I said, I wanted to make sure I had all of that yarn done for this episode so I could show you with the update being on Friday and everything. So it just made sense for me to upload this video a day later so all of the yarn was dry and ready to go. So again, appreciate your patience, and I will be showing you all of that at the end of this episode. We'll talk about all my projects first because I know that's what most of you are here for. So finished objects. Like I said, I have two finished knitting projects this episode, which is kind of exciting. I guess when there's 3 weeks between my knitting project videos, you get a little bit more finished stuff, which is fun. So I am wearing the first finished object. This is my Uptown pullover from Tori. This pattern has released now. It came out maybe this past weekend, I think. It's a really beautiful raglan DK weight pullover with lace sleeves, and honestly, I love the fit of this. I wouldn't say I wasn't sure how I thought it was going to fit me because I have knit the Uptown tee as well, and I really enjoy the fit of that. But something about this, it's just, I don't know. The way it sits on my body, I'm really, really pleased with. I will put some of my finished object photos on the screen also, but I'll stand up and show this to you in a second. We'll just talk about a couple little details first. So I knit the size 4 for this. Sorry, I accidentally whacked my camera there, so hopefully the framing hasn't changed too much. I wanted to grab my knitting notebook so I could tell you how long it took me to knit this. So I started it on January 22nd and I finished it on February 15th. So how many days is that? So that took me 25 days to knit, which isn't too bad for me. If you don't know, I don't work, so I have a lot of knitting time. So 25 days for me is pretty good, I would say. Now, this is a cropped garment. I did keep the crop on it. It's about, I think it came out to about 10-ish inches once I blocked it in length from the underarm. I'm happy with that. I do need to purchase some more high-waisted jeans because that is how I really want to wear this, and I currently don't have any high-waisted jeans that fit me properly, so I need to purchase a couple more pairs of high-waisted jeans so that I can wear this exactly how I would like to. I've tried it on over top of some dresses, and I think for me the fit is just a wee bit too boxy for over top of a dress. Now maybe I don't have the right style of dress. I think if I had something a little bit more fitted in A-line, it would look really cute, but I don't have a lot of dresses in my wardrobe. So, all right, I have some, but they're more summer dresses, so they're a little bit too short for me to wear right now. Granted, the weather right now is insanely warm outside, and I'm dying under these lights with a sweater on. It's fine. I'll make do. We haven't turned our AC on yet because it's still technically spring, winter, and it's not going to be warm like this forever, but right now, very, very warm. But yeah, I think high-waisted jeans is going to look really, really cute with, and like more of an A-line dress, maybe as like a spring to summer transition piece or a fall to winter transition piece. So I haven't tried it on with that little black A-line dress that I have yet, but but I have a feeling it'll look very cute with that. Yarn-wise, I knit this out of a colorway that is coming in the update. I have been hiding the name from you for the past who knows how long that I've been knitting this, but now that the update is ready to go, I can tell you. This is called Pumpkin Spice Cream. Get the pun? It's, yeah, when I came up with that one, I was quite proud of myself. But yeah, pun, the whole collection is ice cream based, so this is Pumpkin Spice Cream. And yeah, like I said, it's in DK weight, so it is 100% superwash merino. You get 231 yards per 100 grams. So let me stand up so you can get a little bit better of a look at the details on this. I do have sweatpants on. I don't care. Let's be honest, I'm pretty sure like 90% of us who record YouTube videos that are sitting down have sweatpants on. So it's not just me. But this is my Uptown pullover. So like I said, cropped, boxy fit with the lace sleeves. They hit like kind of just below my natural wrist. The raglan shaping, nothing fancy in the back. There is no like collar on this per se, it's just a raw edge, which actually I quite like. And then your cuffs, as well as, I won't hold it up because you will see everything, but the hem on the bottom is also finished with this I-cord edge. I did knit all of my 1x1 ribbing inside out with my usual trick. And then here is the lace on the arms. Both arms are mirrored, so the lace you can see runs in a different way on each side, because with this lace pattern, it does like have a tendency to curve as you're knitting it. It's just the type of lace it is. So really thoughtful detail to have each side go in a different direction, I think. It does have a really nice curved raglan on it. What is the name for that? Compound raglan. I think last time I accidentally called it contiguous, and it's not contiguous, it's a compound raglan. But I think that's part of what makes the fit so nice, because it fits to my body really well. I don't know if you can see the curve in the back also is quite nice. I don't know, it just makes for a really flattering fit, I think. So another wonderful detail. And yeah, body is just plain stockinette. I think it's nice. It kind of feels like a elevated baseball tee to me in a way, or baseball shirt. It's not a tee, but yeah, I think the details of it are very pretty. So construction wise, I didn't change much at all. The only thing I did change, there is a rapid decrease before the cuff on the sleeves. And in the pattern, it calls to do a knit two together on both sleeves. Now, I wanted the decreases to run with the lace quite well. So instead of doing a knit two together on the right side, I did switch that to slip knits so that it stayed in the same angle as the rest of the lace. But otherwise, I did not change a thing. Oh no, one other thing, which isn't like a huge change, I guess. It's more of a to my body change. The sleeves are shorter than the pattern calls for, which is pretty normal for me. I think quite often I end up shortening the sleeves, so I don't know. I did measure them when I blocked them, but I don't have that written down in my notebook, so I'm not 100% sure what the length is, but of course that's going to be something that each person has to customize for themselves anyways. But you do definitely have to stretch the sleeve when you're measuring it a little bit, which is not normal to what I would do on other garments. But because of this lace, it grows like crazy when you block it. I put a reel actually up on Instagram of the difference on this one between unblocked and blocked, and you can see that the sleeves grew a crazy amount in length. So that was something I had to pay attention to as well, but there is a note for that in the pattern. Tori does say to ensure that you're stretching just a little bit when you're measuring for the sleeve length. So yeah, I think that is pretty much all I have to say about this. It's a beautiful pattern, would highly recommend it. Like I said, I just love the fit of the raglan on this one. I think it's super flattering, and it's gonna be a really nice like throw on over top of stuff piece, but you can also like style it on its own, a really nice transition piece for the coming spring months. I don't know. Very cute, really, really like it. And she also did, with the release of this, she updated her Uptown tee pattern to have the instructions to make the sleeves longer on that as well. So if you're wanting to knit this, but you didn't want to knit it out of DK, you wanted to do it out of fingering, you could purchase the Uptown tee pattern now and have a fingering weight version as well, which is kind of cool. So love this, really happy with how it turned out. My other finished object is not fully finished, but we're gonna call it finished for the purpose of this video, and I'll probably wear it in the next one to show you what it looks like completed totally. But this is my Primaveral cardigan from Isabella Clark. I really wanted to make sure that I had it mostly done for this episode so I could show you, because this pattern releases tomorrow, actually, the 29th of February. So this is, I can't button it up, so it's gonna be a little weird to show because that's one thing that's missing. I haven't cut the ends on it yet, and I haven't even purchased buttons, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna go purchase them this afternoon, but I haven't attached buttons to it just yet. But here it is. It's a really pretty, there's cables, but there's also faux cables on this cardigan. And I did knit up the version with the double knit button band. There is a version of the pattern, and all of the photos for the pattern I think as well have this with like a scalloped edge to it, which is very cute. It just isn't really my style. So when I saw she had, I wasn't sure about knitting it. We'll start with that. I wasn't sure about knitting it until I saw that there was going to be an option for the double knit button band, and then I was like, yeah, this is going to be a really, really cute staple piece, something I'm very excited to have in my wardrobe. So the pattern does call to knit this up out of, actually, jump backwards, size-wise, I knit the size 5 for this one. Now we'll go back to the yarn. The pattern calls to knit this out of an unspun yarn, Newtiden, I believe from Honor Ock Air, but I didn't really want to splurge on that, and I wanted to knit up with some more yarn from this upcoming collection. So I knit this out of Birch Sock and Birch Suri, our new Birch Suri base, held double. I'll get more into that when I talk about the yarn at the end, but I am retiring our current, well, I guess it's now the old Suri base. I'm retiring it and replacing it with something I think is 1,000 times better. So I am using that Suri for this piece. So yeah, I think it's really, really pretty. I was able to get gauge with it. It is all over rib, so it has a lot of stretch to it. I didn't pin out my sleeves. I just laid them down to dry without pinning, partially because I ran out of pins. I pinned the body quite a bit because I knew that was going to hang more, because the body has a little bit of extra ease to it. I think my bust is about 42-ish, 43 inches, depends on the day. And the body on this one came out to about 50 inches. So I have quite a bit of positive ease on it, and I wanted to make sure that I blocked it so that the lace was really nice and opened up on the body, and that used up all my pins. And I figured, you know, the sleeves, once they're on me, they're gonna kind of stretch out and do their own thing anyways, so I didn't bother pinning them. But yes, so I need to purchase, what, 6 buttons for this, I think, and cut all of these ends. Maybe, let's see, I'm just trying to find a way I can hold this half decently. Let's see, what if I hold it? Yeah, that doesn't really show it that great. This is when I really needed the buttons. Maybe if I hold it like this. Kind of shows you the front a little bit better. But yeah, just overall rib with those mock cables and cables. The bottom is just a 1x1 rib as well on the hem. The only change I made for this is the cuffs. Now, I don't know if this is something she's going to change in the final version of the pattern. It is something quite a bit of us testers have talked about, but The cuffs, when I knit them originally as called to in the pattern, were way too tight. I couldn't even get them over my hands, which is not an issue I've ever had before. So that was not gonna work for me. So I ripped them out, and there are 2 sets of rapid decreases at the end of the sleeve before you get to the cuff. And I ended up only doing 1 of those sets of rapid decreases and then just going into my ribbing. So I lose a little bit of that cinched in like bubble sleeve look for it, but surprisingly when I wear the cardigan, it still looks like a bubble sleeve quite a bit, even though it doesn't really look like it is one tons when I hold it up here. So I don't think that affected the final look of it too much. And I really, really like how it fits. And I think it will be a lot better to wear other garments underneath. Like I'm not gonna slip my hand into it and it's gonna pull up the sleeve of whatever I'm wearing under it and make it awkward and bunchy. So I think that that is a good, or was a good decision on my part. And the decreases on it are so neat and so well done that it blends beautifully into the rest of the lace and the ribbing. So I thought that was really, really thoughtful, or a thoughtful detail rather, with the pattern. So yeah, timing wise, how long did this one take me to knit? I don't think I've written it in my notebooks just yet, but I know it's on my Ravelry project page. So give me one moment. So I started it January 28th, finished it February 25th. So just under 30 days, which is also pretty good, I think. I did work on it quite monogamously during the end of it so that I could get it finished. The sleeves went so fast, which is surprising to me with the amount of ribbing that it is. Like the whole thing is ribbing, so I thought it would go slower, but it didn't. It went quite fast, and that is with me having to redo the button band once, which was all my fault. I knit it on too small of a needle and it was just like way too tight and was like bunching up funny, and I was sitting there the whole time I was knitting it like, oh yeah, it'll block out, it'll be fine. No, it did not. So I ended up ripping the whole button band out and redoing it, and I'm very glad I did because I'm much happier with how it looks now. So yeah, I don't think I even said the name of this colorway. My bad, I apologize. So like I said, Birch Sock, Birch Suri. This colorway is called Earl Grey. So it's not, well, it's showing up actually quite well on camera. It's like a gray, beige, grayish, whatever you want to call it, but a very, very neutral wearable color, which is what I really, really wanted out of this garment. I wanted it to be something that I could throw on over pretty much anything and it would fit me well. Yeah, very pleased with the outcome of this. I'm sure I've I'm sure I have put up some photos of Isabella's finished object. Goodness. I'm kind of out of practice here because it's been so long since I've filmed a sit-down video, but I'm sure I've put some photos up on the screen of Isabella's version as well with that scalloped button band, which is very, very cute. And I will make sure I show this to you next episode with the ends cut off and the buttons added to it, and I will most likely wear it then. So yeah, very, very pleased with this. Very pleased. This year is really going to be the year of wearable everyday pieces for me. I'm knitting a lot of neutral cardigans. This, I guess, this color is kind of a neutral for me. This sort of like rusty pumpkin-y orange and also olivey greens seem to be really, really neutral for me. So I'm trying to add some pieces like that into my wardrobe. And so yeah, very excited for that. I think that's going to be a great grab and throw on without thinking sort of piece. So I think I've said everything about that one. Talked about the button band and the cuff. Yeah. So those are my finished objects. And then I have 2 new cast-ons, and I also have an update on my Stella Quilt Blanket. So let's start with my Stella. I have moved this into a project bag now. This is the bag that came with my Homespun House Advent from 2023. It's by Knitting Unicorns. And so I figured the blanket that I'm knitting with my Advent yarn from a homespun house would be a very smart thing to put in here. So I've just pulled, I'm knitting this square by square and I'm going to seam it together. And so all I did was pull the colors that I'm going to use for this square and put them in this bag, so it was a little bit more manageable to carry around, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it, I think. Last time I really only had a couple squares on this one, and I have added more. You can kind of see that quilt motif starting to show, which is cool. I'm very pleased with it so far. So yarn wise, like I said, I'm using the Advent from a homespun house. It was set up to be a fade, and I decided that I didn't really want a fade because I thought it would look weird going around in the colors, and it would look fadey, and then it would just have like a really random stop right where color 1 and what would that be, color 8 met up. So what I ended up doing was alternating yarns from like one, let's see, this square is color 1 and then this one is color 24, and I'm going to alternate back and forth between that. So it'll be like 1, 24, 2, 23, 3, 22, if that makes sense. But I came to an issue with that where all of the colors were going to be like pinks and mauves, and then there was going to be one random blue. And that was going to bother me a lot. So I did pull out some scrap yarn out of my stash and put that in there. This is from Barnyard Knits, I think. Do I have the ball band in here? I might. I don't know if she dyes this color anymore. I can't find my ball band, but there it is. Yes, Barnyard Knits in Sweet Juliet. It is also on the same base as everything else. So I purchased some undyed 75-25 fingering weight yarn. The Homespun House Advent is on 75-25, and this I made sure was also on 75-25 just to keep everything the same. And I'm holding everything double for this. So all of these squares, they're all knit up. There's a couple different methods included in the pattern of how to knit them up. And they're all knit held double throughout. So this here is that Barnyard Knits yarn. This little Progress Keeper is from Denim and Rain. And yeah, so I am preview knitting this. It isn't live yet. If you really, really like this and you want to knit something like this, her Stella Quilt Cushion pattern is live already, which is like a pillow pattern. And then she's now converting this into a blanket. So like I said, I'm going to knit each individual little star motif, and then I will seam them together at the end. I thought that would be the best way to make it more of a portable project for myself, because if I had to have a whole big huge blanket, I would never pick this up and take it anywhere with me. So this kind of worked better for me, I guess, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't have tons to say about it. I think I will continue to, as I finish this square, the next one, I'll pull out the colors that would technically be in order and see how it goes and see, you know, if I want to pull some more scraps or what I want to do. Because I know already with just the Advent skeins, I'm probably only going to be able to get about 3 or 4 squares out of this. So I'm going to have to put scraps into the blanket anyways. So it doesn't really bother me too much if I have to mix them in throughout the motifs, but I'm just going to want to be a little thoughtful about it. So yeah, added some squares into that. Really enjoying it for like a mindless evening knit. It's been really, really fun. I'm not sure when it's going to be releasing. It is obviously a really large pattern because it's a blanket, or not so much a large pattern, but a large undertaking for Laura to knit it up and for us preview sample knitters to knit it up. So yeah, not 100% sure on release date yet, but I will keep you posted, and I will keep showing you my progress, of course, as well. Okay, let's jump into new cast-ons. This first one I'm having so much fun with, so much fun. This is my Lauder Cardigan V-neck test knit. This pattern is coming soon from Rebecca Clow, and it is like a wealth of patterns. It is going to have a normal crew neck pullover, a v-neck pullover, a crew neck cardigan, v-neck cardigan, and a vest. So it is a big test knitting group. There are a lot of us, but I decided that I wanted to do the v-neck cardigan version. This bag here is from Knitting Nelly. I had, I think, my Primaveral cardigan in there, and I just like quickly whipped the yarn over into this one for ease because it was what was near me. And I'm knitting this up out of a new yarn to me, which is from Sandnes Garn. This is their double Sunday base in the colorway Acorn. I've seen those twins who knit use this yarn a ton, this colorway specifically too, and I just thought it was such, again, a perfect neutral. So I'm really excited to be adding a piece with this color to my wardrobe, and I'm loving the yarn so far, spoiler alert. So with that aside, with my newfound love for double Sunday, it's so affordable. These are only 50-gram balls, and I think, how much were they? Were they like $10 or $11? Not bad. I was right, it's $11 per ball. So not the cheapest commercial yarn, but also not super, super expensive. Pretty affordable. If you compared this to 100 grams worth of yarn, that comes out to $22, which is still cheaper than a hand-dyed skein of yarn. So yeah, really loving the feel of this. What is its content? 100% merino wool. No wonder I like it. I love me some merino. So that is what I'm knitting it out of. And look how pretty. It's so beautiful. It is a labor of love because obviously look at all these cables. So many cables, but it is stunning. So I'm so happy with this. I only cast this on a couple days ago, and I've already got this much done. This actually today might be, yeah, today's the third day I've worked on it. So I'm pretty impressed with myself. The pattern is shockingly easily memorizable for the amount of cabling in it. The nice thing is there's really only 2 different types of cables that you're doing. So that makes it pretty easy to remember, which I'm thankful for. So this is the back. I have a little bit more to knit here, like a couple more inches, I think. And then I will be putting this on hold and picking up for the front 2 portions to create the V, and then connecting under the arms and continuing to knit the cardigan. For flat knitting, this is also shockingly fun, which is surprising to me because I'm not like the biggest lover of flat knitting, but I guess I've been doing enough cardigans now that I'm kind of starting to enjoy it. So yeah, that's been interesting to me as well, but this is beautiful. This here, I just joined in a new ball of yarn. So I feel like I got pretty far with that 150-gram ball for a cabled garment as well, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. So I'm knitting the size 4. I think it's going to give me about like 5 or 6 inches of positive ease when it's finished and blocked. Obviously it's going to grow a lot once I block it because it is cabled and there is like purl rows in between all of those cables. So once I block it, it will open up a lot and give me a lot more positive ease, a lot more cozy, but it's so soft and squishy and great feeling. So I'm really pleased with the Sandnes Garn, the double Sunday. I'm enjoying my journey this year of trying to find more affordable yarns to recommend. And obviously I haven't blocked this and worn it yet, so I can't speak to that. But knitting experience-wise, I'm very pleased with this yarn so far. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Like I said, those twins who knit seem to use it all the time. They love Acorn and, oh, what's the other color? I think it might be Almond. They use almond all the time. I've heard of a lot of people using marzipan as well too. Almond is like a creamy light beige, where marzipan is more of like on the neutral end of the beige. But yeah, with the way I'm loving this so far, I think I might have to order myself some more double Sunday. There are a few patterns that I really, really like from Sandnes Garn. There is a really pretty cabled pullover I love. There's also a cardigan that one side on the front is cabled and one is textured, and I just think it's so cool. And if you want to knit Sandnes Garn patterns, the only problem is you have to purchase their yarn to get the pattern. Like, you have to purchase the yarn for the pattern to be able to knit it. So I'm with how much I'm loving this, I think I would be willing to drop a little bit of cash to do that, to knit up either one of those patterns. So that might be somewhere in the future, we'll see. But yeah, loving knitting with this so far. I think it's really, really fun, and I'm excited to see where this goes. The other thing that I have cast on, I haven't done much, I've really only swatched for it, is the Interthreading cardigan by Hannah Sandler. And like I said, I've swatched for it. So here is my swatch. It's a really fun pattern. Lots of knits and purls. It kind of feels ribbing-y again, which is funny. Apparently I'm in like a ribbing phase, I don't know. But it's also got these really pretty floats on it as well. And I'm knitting this out of another update colorway. This is on my Birch DK base again, 100% superwash merino. And this here is called Maple Walnut. This collection, I really wanted to come up with a lot of like everyday wearable neutrals that were still kind of fun. So this has a lot of really pretty like warm mapley speckles throughout it, some chocolate browns as well, and it's just a really pretty beige base, which I'm very pleased with how it knit up so far. So yeah, that is the wrong side, whoopsies. But yeah, really pleased with how it knit up. I hit gauge right away, which was also quite exciting. That doesn't happen very often. A lot of times I end up having to do a couple swatches to get my gauge, but that one was right on with the first swatch, which is awesome. So I'm going to be knitting the size 6 for this one. It is, I'll put some photos on the screen, but it's just a really pretty like higher necked classic shaped cardigan with some positive ease. I think again I'm gonna have about 10 inches of positive ease on this one. I really like big, cozy, squishy cardigans, so I'm excited for this one as well. Obviously there's not tons to talk about because I haven't done much other than the swatch, but I wanted to show you the swatch. So that's where I am with that one. Very excited to continue working on it. So that is all I have for knitting projects. But like I said, I wanted to talk to you about my update coming up on Friday, March 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is going to be for my One More Scoop collection, themed all around different fun ice creams and ice cream toppings and all that sort of fun stuff. So I'm going to show you the yarn, but first I wanted to talk about the base change that is going to be coming with this update. So like I said, I am discontinuing my current Suri base. Now I want to pull up my computer here because I haven't fully memorized the composition of my new base, but my old Suri base, so the one that's being discontinued, is a 74% baby Suri alpaca, 26% silk. And it gives you 328 yards per 50 gram skein. The reason I'm switching to this new Suri base is, number one, I like how it feels better, but number two, you get way more yardage out of it. It's more comparable to like the average mohair yardage. So for this one, the content is 65% baby Suri alpaca, 35% silk. So you're gonna have a little bit more silk content in there, but I don't think it changes the fluff of it, in my opinion, at all. I think the fluff is almost better, in my opinion. I don't know, like if I hold this up, it's so hard to tell on camera, but I prefer the fluff, in my opinion. And I also feel like it sheds less. I didn't have as much, like I still get Suri fibers on myself when I'm knitting it up. They stick to your pants, it is what it is. It happens with mohair, it happened with my previous Suri base, but I feel like I have less of that with this new one. So I liked that, but I also love the yardage. So for this one, you're going to get 437 yards per 50 grams. So that just made me way happier. The only change with that new Suri base other than the yardage, I am going to have to up the price $1 to $30 US or $39 Canadian, just because of that higher silk content. The base costs me a wee bit more to source, but I feel like it's worth it for the yardage and all of that sort of stuff. It kind of evens itself out because you're going to have to purchase less skeins than with the previous base, if that makes sense. So kind of evens itself out. You get like 100 yards more worth for $1 more. Yeah, anyways, that's happening with the Suri base for this new update, and I will be switching the whole site over to that new Suri base. So if you order anything on the site, it's going to be in that new Suri. If you didn't know, I do have like a small amount of stock of yarn on my website, but every time you order something, I do dye it for you that day, the next day. I do get all my packages out to you in like no less than 10 days. Usually it's like 2 to 3 days, but I do dye on demand. So with that being said, I do have some of the old Suri base dyed up and ready to go, and all of that is going to be going on sale on the site the same time that this update goes up. I'm not sure, I haven't figured out what the discount is going to be yet, but it's going to be pretty significant, so I can offload all of that stock, and then I will be able to transition all of my bases over to that new Suri. So along with the update, there will be a old Suri base, retiring Suri base update, discount update. I don't know how to word that, but it will be very clear on the website which is which. So yeah, with that aside, should we talk yarn? I'm so excited about this collection. So let's start with the colorway I'm wearing, because you've kind of seen it already, but this here is Pumpkin Spice Cream. It's kind of blowing out a little if I put it up close. Not terribly, but that's maybe a little bit brighter than it is. Obviously you can see what it looks like on me. But here it is dyed up on all of the bases. This here is the DK, Fingering, and Suri. Suri is always going to take the color ever so slightly lighter because of that silk content, and also because it is a non-superwash base. Both of these here, my Fingering and DK, are superwash bases, and they pull colors really vibrantly where non-superwash doesn't tend to as much. So it comes out a little bit lighter, but if you hold these two colors together, it's going to come out looking very similar to the superwash bases, or it looks really cool over top of like a cream or something like that to add a wash of color. So that is why the Suri is always a little bit lighter, but this here is Pumpkin Spice Cream. Might as well talk about the colors that I've kind of showed you today first. So here is Earl Grey, DK, Fingering, and Suri. I just love how beautiful and neutral this one is. Really good for some wearable pieces, I think. And here we have Maple Walnut, which I just showed you swatched up there. This is the DK, Suri, and Fingering. The speckles on this are just so fun, especially on the Suri. Speckles on Suri tend to spread a little bit. They're not as sharp as my speckles on my superwash bases, but they're just so nice and like watercolory. So that is Maple Walnut. And then you've also seen this colorway, but a little while ago, and I was hiding the name of it from you. This is one of the colors I used on my Rue sweater, and this is called Cherry on Top. So DK here, Suri, and Fingering. Beautiful. This one is so rich and pretty. It stains the crap out of my nails when I dye it, even if I have gloves on. I don't know what happens with it, but it's so worth the stained fingernails for this color. So Cherry on Top. I will show you all of these colorways held together in one clump at the end as well, just so you can see kind of how they play with each other, because I do think they play together really well. It was something I wanted to make sure for this collection. So like speckles kind of all intermingle between the colors, like everything works together really, really well, which I really wanted for this collection. So this here, oh my goodness, I haven't knit anything out of it yet, but it's so pretty, and it will knit up basically the same to maple walnut. The speckling technique is the same on it. So if you're wondering how this would knit up, very similar to maple walnut. Lavender honey. It is a pale, pale lavender base with like maple and lavender speckles. Oh my gosh. Again, look at how pretty and watercolory, put this over here, how pretty and watercolory it is on the Suri. Yeah, this one, it seems to have been everyone's favorite on Instagram so far. I've showed it there already, but it's also one of my favorites, and I definitely need to knit something out of it right away. So lavender honey. And the final color is a little bit of a jump to something a little bit different than the rest of the collection, but still also neutral at the same time. This is called Neon Sprinkles. Look at that. So it's a really nice beigey base with like crazy neon speckles. I think it's gonna be so perfect for summer knits, hats, socks, cowls, anything. And again, the watercolor of this on the Suri is so stunning. So there are fuchsia, bright neon purple, neon like yellowy green, and blue speckles throughout this. And of course they're gonna fade together a little bit when they're on top of each other, so you get some other colors in there as well. But I'm so proud of this one. I think it's so pretty and so unique. So yeah, those are all 6 of the colorways in this collection. Let me grab them all. I will show them to you on my fingering weight base so you can see them all together. So there are all of the colors for this new collection. The cherry on top is making everything blow out, so maybe I'll hold them up in a sec too without that. But lots of beautiful neutrals with a couple tonals that I think go really well with them. Yeah, let me hold these ones up without the deeper jewel tones beside them so it doesn't blow out as much. So Earl Grey, Neon Sprinkles, Lavender Honey, and Maple Walnut. I'm so excited. So yeah, like I said, the update is going live on March 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. These will all be in the shop, and then all of the retiring Suri base will also be on sale in the shop at the same time. So that is that. I think, do I have anything else I wanted to talk about? I always stare around this room. It's still a mess, by the way. It's getting better. I'm cleaning it up slowly, but it's still a mess. So, oh my gosh, I know what I wanted to talk about. I hit 8,000 subscribers on YouTube over the past little bit, and I haven't been able to talk about it because I've been sick. But thank you so much. I can't believe I hit 8,000. I'm gonna let you in on my goal this year. I want to hit 10. So only 2,000 away from 10,000 subscribers, which is insane to me. I never thought the channel would be hitting this point. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all of you for coming and joining me and my craziness every week. It means so much. Yeah, I think that's everything. I genuinely think that's everything. So thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It really, really helps out the channel. And I will be back to my normal schedule now since I'm feeling better. I will see you again next week for another video. Bye!